everyone, it's Pat from Seattle Coffee Gear, and we are here today to look at a side-by-side comparison of the new Solis Scala Zero and the kind of classic Breville Smart Grinder Pro. So I really like both of these grinders. They're pretty different, as you can see, in terms of the way that they kind of work and feel. But what's cool about both of them is that they're both grinders that are going to be able to do some of your espresso brewing and then also some of your slow brewing as well. So they're kind of that rare grinder that has the ability to go back and forth a little bit. And that is down to, in part, the Scala, the Scala Zero's wider range of grind settings. Compared to the original Scala, this one has a little more degree of control, so you can actually use it to get into some of that unpressurized brewing that you get on the Smart Grinder Pro. So obviously there's a bit of a price difference between these two grinders as well, so some of the features on the Smart Grinder Pro are going to be a little more advanced, but at the end of the day, they can both produce pretty similar grounds in terms of quality, and we'll do a comparison on that a little later in the video. The biggest differences in terms of ergonomics are obviously going to be, and workflow, going to be the fact that the Smart Grinder Pro is going to have this nice big grind adjust knob on the side, and it's going to reflect your grind setting on the screen down here. You're also going to be able to use this digital timer to set specific times, and then you've got a range of different shot and cup options, so you can set different programming for your different brew methods and sizes of coffee. Worth noting that it won't change grind setting for you between those settings. So you are going to have to move the grind settings around. So you'll probably want to keep note of what settings you're using for what different brew methods. The Scala Zero, on the other hand, is a much simpler grinder in terms of operation. You just rotate the hopper to change the grind setting. Again, it has more of those different settings now, even though the numbering is the same on it. The distance between clicks is shorter than it was in the original Scala. And then you're going to have a kind of timer down here that you can set in 5-second increments along these numbers so that you can get your timing dialed in. A little less precise in that way than the Smart Grinder Pro. Another big difference on the Scala Zero, and the reason it's called the Zero, is that they've gone to great lengths to introduce technology that reduces the amount of static in the grounds, which is a big thing for anybody who is familiar with sort of entry-level grinders, even all the way up into the more mid-range, is you get a lot of static. So the Zero improves on that. The Smart Grinder Pro is pretty good in that department as well, but we'll compare them side by side so you can sort of see for yourself. Next, we're going to do some grind comparisons in the mid-range of these grinders. So I've set the Smart Grinder Pro kind of right in the middle, up around the drip setting, and then I've got my Scala here set around the 15, which is about in the middle for that grinder. So I'm going to run them both for about the same amount of time. We'll see what we get. So we'll start with the Scala Zero. And we'll run the Smart Grinder Pro. Pretty similar sound. I like the tone of the Scala Zero a little bit more, and the Smart Grinder Pro is maybe a little lower volume overall, so it's kind of whichever you prefer in terms of that. They're both pretty okay sounding. So and got pretty low retention and low static on the grounds from the Scala Zero. They look pretty good at that range. And then the Smart Grinder Pro. Similarly, pretty good static performance in the environment here right now. We do have some humidity in the air from the rain, so keep that in mind. And you're going to get, again, really similar grind performance at these kinds of levels through between these two grinders, which is pretty cool considering that the Scala Zero is, again, lower cost than the Smart Grinder Pro. So I'm going to reset, and we're going to go down to a finer setting, and you can see what they look like down at that fine setting. Okay, so now we're going to try a finer grind. I've kind of tried to get these to a similar setting, but they do have very different number ranges for their grinds, so they're not going to be exactly the same, but we're going to get close. Okay, and the Smart Grinder Pro. Okay, let's see how the grinds from the Scala Zero look. those are looking nice and fine down in the espresso range and from the Smart Grinder Pro. So this level for the Smart Grinder Pro is going to be a little finer, just again because of that difference in settings, but these are both of these down pretty close to what they can do in terms of fines. So you get a little bit more powdery grounds from the Smart Grinder Pro, but both of these are going to be very capable for getting you started with that unpressurized espresso. The Smart Grinder Pro might give you a little bit more control than the Scala Zero, but the real thing here is, given the price difference and everything, it's impressive to us that the Scala Zero is able to even kind of get close down into this more powdery espresso range. And then also that it has the degree of control between the steps in order to really make it work for that unpressurized espresso, which is something that we already knew the Smart Grinder Pro could do. So if it were me, these two grinders are both really great options. I like the kind of compact nature of the Scala Zero, and it's very simple to operate, and the price is really nice, but at the same time, the Smart Grinder Pro is going to give you those extra interface options, which are also really nice. So kind of comes down to your counter space and your needs from your grinder, but they're both really great options for your slow brewing and for your getting into your more espresso range brewing as well. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got a better feel for what these two grinders look like side by side. If you did like the video, be sure to hit the like button. Feel free to ask any questions you have below, and make sure you get subscribed for more content about all kinds of Scala and Breville and espresso machines and grinders and everything coffee. Thanks.